At what point in your writing process did you decide to do that?
I was working on the first act, and I knew I wanted to tell the story very subjectively, and I kept sort of reaching for a way to express that on the page. And I don't know, it just sort of popped into my head to just try it.
I've never seen that before. And also so Chris very famously doesn't send his scripts. You have to either go to the office and sit and read it, or in the case of this one, he showed up in New York on a Friday night with the script, and I said, well, we're having dinner, and I can't read it till tomorrow morning. And so he left the script with me overnight, which is very rare. But he said before he left, we talked for an hour or so, and then he said, how fast do you read? And I said, I read at the exact pace that the movie's gonna go. Like Emma said, if you want to read it as an audience and you want it to wash over you. He said, what time will you start reading? And I thought about it. I said, Chris, I'm gonna start reading at exactly 9 a.m. And he goes, I'll be here at noon. And at 12 o'clock, he showed up. He took the script back, and then we sat and we talked for hours and hours.
This is it, you're going to carry this one. But it's also a huge ensemble around him, and so it's a lot of incredible faces, some very new, some very well known, and calling a lot of favors, like coming to see Matt Damon in Brooklyn and saying we need General Groves, and he's got it, in real life he was a very controversial figure, not that well loved by everybody, and I felt that Matt is the guy who can do that, who can project the truth of that. He was a hard ass, he was a very manipulative person, also very smart. But I think that Matt finds a way to not alienate the audience from that, to sort of draw them into that. And just an incredible cast. It was such a joy.
Any cuts you can think of looking at it, and I said, no, I really don't. I think it's incredible, and I said maybe when we shoot it, you'll put it up and you'll see some places that you can maybe pull some things, and he goes, I don't do that. I was like, excuse me? He goes, no, I don't do that. If I shoot it, it's going to be in the movie. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to shut up now. I'm just going to come to work. So tell me where to stand.
I'm going to say cards on the table that Matt wrote. He is, as you may know, an Oscar-winning screenwriter. But what was wonderful about it is we were working from the transcripts, the real transcripts. I didn't want to invent dialogue. And so Matt knew that coming to me with that would sort of potentially break those rules. And so he came to me with several page references from the transcripts of later things that Groves had said that fully justified changing that line, putting that line in there. And in the end, it saved me a whole other speech, which was a great speech and very well delivered, but a little redundant to Vannevar Bush, because it's
57, we actually showed it then. Okay, Matt Damon, I'd like you to comment on the fact that this movie was shot in 57 days.
It's fucking ridiculous.
It was a pure bluff. I was like, okay, fine, I'll shoot it in 57 days, whatever. And then everyone around me went, great. And I went to Hoyter, I went to Nilo, first AD, and said,